Hello and welcome to Audiobook Connection, behind the scenes with the creative teams. I'm Becky Parker Geist and I'm your host. Audiobook Connection is your place to learn about the audiobook creative process and for authors to learn valuable tips on producing and marketing your audiobooks. This podcast is sponsored by Pro Audio Voices, helping great stories come alive through audiobook production and marketing. Hey, thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to talk about a marketing technique or a tool that is available that for a while was growing in popularity and then it sort of phased out for a little while, or not phased out, but it slowed down, and it is really coming back into more general use in marketing, and that is QR codes. For those who have seen them but don't really know what they are exactly, maybe kind of know how they work, I'll just give you a very brief explanation. It is a visual way, like an image that will, when you click on it with your camera, will take you directly to the website address that is connected with that particular pixelated image. And there's a whole, if you want to go down the rabbit hole, there's some really interesting information about how QR codes are designed or how they're developed, like what the pixels mean, but we're not going to go down into that rabbit hole today. What we are going to talk about are some ways that you can use QR codes in your marketing, and this can be for really any kind of marketing. We're focused on audiobooks, and so we're going to talk about that specifically, but a little more broadly, certainly something you can use in your book marketing as well. Okay, so, one of the challenges that authors sometimes feel like they're facing with events that they're doing, and these could be any different, all different kinds of events, and I'll list out some of these, but one of the challenges is, well, how do I sell my audiobook at an event, right? Okay, so that's where we're going to start off. Because QR codes are linked to a specific URL or a specific website address, and when I say specific, I mean like on your website, each page has a different URL, right? So the QR code is directed specifically to one of those. You could have it go to your home page, for example, and from there people can navigate around. Or you could have it go to, let's say, a book page if you were directing them to your website. Another approach with your audiobook, and this may be especially helpful if you are at an event where you already have print copies of your book, and what you'd like to be able to offer as well to the people attending is a quick and easy way to have your audiobook available. And just to give you some ideas on the kinds of events that you could use this approach at. It could be book fairs, libraries, could be bookstores, and there are different ways to make it available at bookstores. You maybe are doing a speaking engagement, and you could add it to your presenter slides, your presentation slides. Or maybe if you're doing a kind of back of the room pitch with print copies of your book, you could have a QR code that's going to direct people to your audiobook. Maybe you're doing a book signing or on a book tour. Or maybe you're just doing, in your general networking, either networking at an event or maybe less formally that you're just out and about and you talk with everybody you know about your books and audiobooks. One of the ways to make QR codes most valuable to you is to actually link them to the page, the online address, the URL, that you're going to get the most benefit from, right? So with your audiobook, that would typically be, if you're on Amplify Audiobooks, it would be a direct link to your audiobook on that platform. If you are trying to do you want a broader kind of approach, you could link from your website to Amplify, if you're on Amplify, or could be wherever you would prefer people buy your audiobook from. And then use your website as the address for the QR code. So if you're at an event, you could create a poster, for example, that you have on the table. Let's say you've got a booth kind of such situation. You could have it on the poster. You could, if you're on Amplify Audiobooks, you could use a discount code to incentivize people to get them to get the audiobook at your event. So you create the code and make it a limited time available kind of code. Let's say like after the event, you shut it down. So you want them to buy it now or by the end of the day of the event, and then you can make the coupon expire. So it's a way to drive urgency, right? And this approach also can utilize at events where you're doing kind of back of the room sales, right? So that's very event-driven approach. Another thing you can do is you could have cards like business cards or small postcards or something like that where you have the QR code available. And you're going to, again, direct link to purchase or pre-order if that's the status of your audiobook. And this gives people something that they could take away. And you probably, in this case, wouldn't use the discount code. Or if you did, you would make it last a longer amount of time and put that date of when it's going to expire on the card. That gives people who are maybe not quite ready to buy, but they feel like they need to think about it. If you want to give them that extra time, you could do that. Another kind of medium or format, I guess, for the printing of a QR code could be things like bookmarks, right? With bookmarks, these are the kinds of things that you can often get your local bookstore or even bookstore chains who are local to you to put on their counter for people to pick up for free. And then also libraries are often, they will have a place where local authors may be able to put up some information. And these are things that you could tuck it into the sale of each book. Let's say you're doing a book signing and you have bookmarks with your QR code to the audiobook. You could tuck it right into the book, and that can help. Here's the main ways that it would help are, first of all, some people will buy multiple formats of the same book. They read your book or they buy it because they love print books, but they maybe prefer to listen. And so then they get the audiobook. It's also useful in terms of sharing. So they can share that with people who are in their lives. And so when they read your print book and then they go, oh, I know who would love this, but they only do audiobooks, they can share that information with them more easily. So those are a couple ways that you can use that kind of information or that kind of print medium that is going to be helping with your audiobook. There are some other things that you can do as well. For example, you could create the QR code with text around that says basically scan to enter to win a print copy. And I would suggest using some kind of discount code, even if it's a very small discount, but a discount code so that you can track who those people are, so that when they use that link, that code, you're able to, you want to make sure that that link is trackable through the tool that you use to have the QR code created. And I'll come back to that a little bit later. So then it's trackable. So then you know who is entered in that contest. And then you can, at the designated end of the contest period, you can award randomly to one of your customers. Okay, let's just take a real short pause and we'll come back and we're going to talk about a couple other ways that you can use QR codes and then also how to get a QR code for your audiobook URL. All right, we'll be right back. Would you like to earn more from your audiobook sales? If you're an author with an audiobook, you may have noticed that royalties from Audible especially, and other platforms as well, are frankly kinda pathetically low, disappointingly low, and unfairly low considering what it cost you in effort and resources to create it. How is it the retailers are the ones making all the money off your work and investment? As someone who started in the audiobook industry in 1981, I've found it frustrating that authors keep getting shortchanged. The good news is that Pro Audio Voices just launched Amplify Audiobooks, a direct sale audiobook platform for authors that puts you back in the driver's seat. Earn 65% of the gross sales price that you set. Compare that to the percentage of the percentage that retailers give. Run promotions on schedule whenever you want. Create coupon codes. Build community with your customers since you'll know who they are and how to contact them. Work with a caring, responsive, supportive team to help you succeed all along the way. Get help with marketing. Get paid weekly. We're helping audiobook authors who are frustrated by painfully low royalties and the barriers that prevent them from managing their own products and customers. Amplify Audiobooks is a direct sale platform that enables authors to earn much higher royalties and have way more control. We're disrupting the audiobook industry by putting authors first. Get started today at proaudiovoices.app or go to proaudiovoices.com and click on the Distribution Amplify link. Join the movement. Okay, so in your marketing, you may be doing some email newsletters, right? Ideally you are, and ideally you are sending those out on a regular basis, whether it's weekly, monthly, whatever the consistent pattern is. It's a really good idea to be doing an email newsletter. You can add the QR code to that newsletter, and that is a way, again, that you're drawing attention to and making it easy for people to buy your audiobook. You can also, on your regular emails, just your email signature in whichever program you're using for whether it's Gmail or Yahoo or whatever, you can add to your signature a QR code that will, again, take people to either to your website or to your audiobook page, ideally on Amplify, since you'll earn more and you'll know more about who actually purchases your audiobook that way. So you can use it in email in those two ways. You can also use the QR code image as part of a social media post image to give people a quick and easy way to go straight to your audiobook. Now, of course, many people are on their phones when they're doing social media, so it's not so easy to click a code, but you want to also, in a social media post, then have the website address that you want them to go to also included as a separate link that they could just tap, right? So those are a couple other ways to use QR codes. I especially want to just reiterate that at events, QR codes are a really great tool to use to make it easy for people at the event to quickly find your audiobook and purchase it. So I wanted to highlight that before we move into the, how to create a QR code. And it's actually really, really easy and it's free. And that's always nice. The only thing that's not going to be free in terms of the event use would be your printing costs, whatever those may be. If you print at home, it's like practically nothing. But how do you get a QR code? Well, first of all, the only thing that you actually need is the website address to exactly where you want the QR code to go, right? That's the most important thing because that's the basic information. So get that. If it's your own website, that's easy. You'll need the full address, not just starting with www, but starting with the HTTPS. That is a part of the address, a critical part. Okay. Now, there are several platforms, websites where you can go to get a free QR code made. What I recommend is that you just search on QR code generator free online, and you will see some of your options. Now, one of the things that will be of value to you is if you're able to not just have the free QR code, but also be able to track the traffic that is generated through the use of that code. If you're planning to do a kind of enter to win situation, then that will be important to have. So this is a piece of the puzzle that you'll want to do some research on and select a platform that feels like a good fit for you, that will provide you with an account, ideally free, where you can get that information after. The other thing to be aware of is that there are platforms that will initially give you a free code, but then they will expire. The QR codes actually expire. And that can be really problematic. We found that out the hard way when we were doing some materials that we printed up and then realized later that we had put all that material out there and then those links expired. And the only way to regain those active QR codes would be to start paying a monthly fee, which we didn't want to do for the particular situation that we were dealing with. So again, you want to beware of that and just make sure that you're understanding all of the terms on the platform that you choose. So I hope this has been helpful. And if it is, I would love to hear your feedback, any information that you would have liked to have provided, or ideas that you have that I could share and platform so that more people will get the benefit of that information. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you will subscribe to Audiobook Connection. That does help. And while you're at it, if you could share it with a friend who may also benefit from gathering this information and learning new tips and tricks and hearing interviews of authors who have audiobooks and other industry professionals. All of that is super helpful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks for joining us for Audiobook Connection, behind the scenes with the creative teams. Please take a moment to subscribe at audiobookconnection.com. The podcast is sponsored by Pro Audio Voices, helping great stories come alive through audiobook production and marketing. Learn more at proaudiovoices.com. Again, thanks for being with us, and please join us next week.